Okay, so Robert Pattinson is Batman, right? Matt Reeves is directing the movie is called The Batman. And now that I've talked about The Flash, I'm feeling like I'm in a giving mood. And I would like to talk to you guys today about how to make The Batman good, because, in all honesty, I don't think there's been a good Batman movie since the first one from 1989. I think Batman Begins is okay, but all the other ones I don't like. I don't think they're good at all, really. I'm sorry to say. Returns, Forever, and Robin, Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises are all bad. I guess Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice is the movie, isn't it? We don't have to talk about that one. But I'm here to talk to you about the elements of Batman that need to be exploited in order to create a solid narrative and make an overall good Batman movie. Now, I'm not going to get into cinematography or framing or staging or direction, because that's not my place to tell another filmmaker how they should shoot their movie. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just going to tell you, also, I'm going to be absolutely disregarding everything we already know about this movie, because I'm not hopeful. I don't think a Sinister Six is the way to go, but I'm just going to be telling you what characters should be involved in the movie to challenge Batman in one way or another to make the story work. Is that cool with everybody? I sure hope so. Now, one thing that I really do think the movie needs to focus on is the fact that Batman's a detective, because it seems to be the hardest thing to get right. Like, sure, he's smart and he's rich and he's a good fighter and he's got all types of gadgets. That stuff's super easy to write. You can Deus Ex Machina him out of any situation with that. But the detective angle never seems to be quite nailed. They've made attempts, like in The Dark Knight when he makes a brick and shoots it to figure out where the Joker was or some garbage like that. Or in the Batman Arkham games, like when you can look at evidence and somehow create an entire playback of exactly what happened from like 5 minutes ago. That's OP. That's not detective work. That's God himself descending from heaven to tell you what happened. That's not what I want to see here. But I need him to be... I want this movie to start with he's already working a case. Like, he meets with Gordon and he's like, this lines up with this evidence from the last thing, and I think I'm getting to where I need to be. And one thing that the movies have seemed to have a hard time with is getting right that he's a fighter. Like, you can watch him beat on nameless thugs until the cows come home. That's not interesting. I want a showdown between him and the final villain. The main villain, rather. But I also want somebody that can challenge his intelligence. And I honestly don't think there's anybody better for that than Ra's al Ghul. So I feel like Ra's al Ghul is attacking Gotham very specifically, leaving different sorts of types of evidence to see if Batman is smart enough to figure out what's going on and see if he can get to the bottom of what's going on. And then maybe he hires other villains like Bane or Scarecrow, other villains that can also challenge his mind, and one that can challenge his physicality, because he needs to make sure that Bruce Wayne is the person that you want to take over as Ra's al Ghul. So there's a couple other villains involved. You test his crime-solving skills, his fighting skills, his brains, his resolve, his will. You test everything there is about him, right? And then at the beginning of the third act of the movie, you emerge from the shadows. It's like, hey, I am Ra's al Ghul. I have been putting you through these trials because I'm immortal, but not really anymore, and I want you to take my spot and lead the League of Assassins. Super simple, right? Seems like it should be. And then, I mean, there should probably be a Robin in this movie. So I think it should be Timothy Drake, and I think that Dick Grayson should already be Nightwing, and Jason Todd should be Red Hood, but nowhere in this movie. He should not be in this movie. I don't want the Joker involved because, quite frankly, I'm burnt out on him. There's been too much of him out there. You should save him for a Red Hood movie. I don't want Two-Face because, honestly, he hasn't been done well the 2 times he was in the movies, and he's just not all that important. I don't want Penguin because Danny DeVito isn't going to want to play him, and nobody else should. I want Scarecrow because he hasn't been done right. I want Bane because he hasn't been done right. But Scarecrow's only been in one, interpretation of the character. Bane has been featured twice, but in the original adaptation, they got that he uses venom. And in the second adaptation, they got that he's smart. I need to combine these worlds so that you have a Venom-using genius Bane. I don't know why that's so difficult. It really shouldn't be. Also, according to Arrow, the new Ra's al Ghul must, like, destroy their hometown to prove that they're emotionally detached from these sorts of situations and that they're, like, fit to be Ra's al Ghul. I think there should be some stakes like that in this movie, like Gotham's about to be nuked by some sort of, like, neurotoxin, and Bruce knows how to reverse the effects of the gas, but he can't until the gas is, in the air. That way you have some high-tension stakes. And maybe he could go to either Poison Ivy or Mr. Freeze to figure out what types of, like, chemical agents he would need to combat this. I would prefer Mr. Freeze because, he's not really a bad guy, and I think it would be cool if, like, maybe he captured Freeze a long time ago, and they've been provisionally working together ever since, with the promise that one day the two of them will figure out how to save Nora. It's just there's more world building, more things that cement this version of Batman as an established character that already exists. I think that'd be cool. But then it's just like, the gas is released and Bruce has to counter it, and then Ra's al Ghul is like, you've passed every test, now there is but one. Defeat me in Mortal Kombat. And Batman's like, I'm not gonna kill you. And Ra's is like, well, then you're at a disadvantage. And, and they just fight. They just fight. That's all it is. Just a straight up fight. And then Batman won't leave Ra's al Ghul on a train that's going to explode. Ra's al Ghul retreats back to Nanda Parbat to lick his wounds and come up with a new plan. Batman has saved Gotham, stopped 3 criminals, and is going home to figure out what he needs to do next. I feel like it's simple. Maybe I could put in more details somewhere along the way. Maybe I could come up with a script outline for this piece of gold. But that's basically what I think they need to do with the Batman. I know that they're not going to, but at some point a Batman movie needs to have a plot at least similar to that, so that you can truly see every aspect of the character and not just the ones that are the easiest to shoot. That's all I got for you this time. So hopefully you are satiated and don't need too much more from me, at least not right now. But I will see you soon. Batman.